Hi everyone, I've finished the gesso painting with the greens and everything like that. It's all dried, completely dried everywhere, and then what I've done is I've just put a very thin, even coat. You don't need a lot at all of linseed oil. Purified linseed oil is what I use, and I'll put a very tiny amount of that everywhere over this painting. And I actually scrub it in when I'm doing it. I scrub it like that over everything. You can't destroy this, it's dry. So you scrub that in there. And by scrubbing it, it means that every little part of the canvas where it's got an indent gets some of this, because we need to get paint to slide over the top of this. Now the colours we've got are all oil paints. We've gone from acrylics to oils. Very important to understand, I'm not going over wet acrylics, it's fully dry. What I've got here is Midnight Black, Phthalo Blue, and this is like a lovely light green which I've found in a Dalla Rowney range. I'll show you. It's called Yellow Green, and you can mix it up with cad yellow and sap green, but it's already mixed with that. It's a lovely colour. And then we've got cadmium yellow and yellow ochre, titanium white. Right, so for starters, we're just going to we pull the paint out with the palette knife first. So you've got a very small amount of paint here, and it'll go up into a pile, and it just allows you to grab the smallest amount of that phthalo blue. See that? Just the smallest amount. You really don't want a lot for this. And then just in the tops of this sky, I'm going to indicate some of that phthalo blue colour. Just up in this top edge, up in here. There. It's a lovely transparent colour, this phthalo blue. That's why I'm using this. It's really transparent and it's good for this effect. Bit just in there. That's why I left that white in there, you see. These little bits of white up in here, you put a little bit of blue in them as though there's just a little bit of light shining through that. Same over in here, just a little bit. Same small amount of blue. Just going to put a little bit up and showing through these. Where the white areas are, you can go straight over that and it'll just show a hint of the blue. I don't want to come too far down here, because I want a glow of light there, and I'm going to put some little indications of other things going on in there. So I want it to go from blue to white. So you're going to see a tiny bit of blue just in there, just in this area. I hope this is standing out to you all. Just a little bit of blue in there, and then this is the light area. So again, leaves a lovely glow then, and that's exactly what we're after. Now just down in here I can put a little bit of that blue colour, just a tiny smidgen of it, just on the horizon, just there. It leaves that lovely glow there. And what we're also going to do is just use, if I haven't got too much blue, I could just get a tiny bit of titanium white, and as you can see I'm tapping into that really strong, and the little bit of blue that you've got on there should be enough to give it that lovely blue hue that you get from the light. You really don't want a lot of colour for this though, you really don't, because what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to paint out some of the actual trees that we've got in there, as though the sunlight's just blistering through underneath that, just there as well. See, like the light's just creeping its way through slightly. It's not like when I do some rays of sunlight. This is a slightly different effect which I'm trying to create here. Maybe it's going to blister some of that away. See, that's just a little bit of that light coming into it. I hope you can pick this up, because it's very subtle. Very, very, very subtle what I'm doing. Just over that step. And then that's going to be darker in the centre, just with a little tiny bit of light just creeping over there. And what it does as well is it actually pushes them into the background. Same here, we have some light that's just coming from under there, coming over them tree trunks. And there's a little bit just creeping down into there as well. But this is a good way of creating layers. We'll leave some of them dark. It's that contrast that you're after, you see. Maybe the bit of light coming through there, I can make it just hit this bush. I don't want to do it too bright because it's a very subtle effect. Don't need loads of colour. That's it. Maybe we've got one coming from behind that part and then just streaking its way through there and then disappearing off. That's cool, because what I can do is I can put a tree in front of that and push it all back. Even there, I'm just going to pull a few rays of sunshine. See that? And then I can put a bush in front of that, which has got a bit of the light. Very simple way of doing it. Lovely effect. You can wash this out a slight bit as well, just as though that sun's just wanting to just creep over that very slightly. Keep these in silhouette. So I'll just get a clean brush now, 1 1/4 inch brush I'm going to use, and I'm just going to pull that and make it a bit more transparent. And by just brushing it like this gently, it will stop it being quite so opaque. Like the sunlight, when you see it, it's very transparent. Just like that, yeah, that's it. I don't want lines in it. I want it to just be like a little blast of light that's just ripping out of there. That's perfect, so I'm happy with that. Now, what I need to do is, first of all, I'm going to get some darking for these bushes and stuff we've got in here. So I'm just going to use straight black, blue. In fact, you best add crimson to your colours as well, because I'm thinking now I might stick some crimson into it as well. As it's a lovely colour, is crimson, and it's good for mixing darks. Makes a nice shadow colour. Like Torben said, you never really use black on its own. You're always mixing it. If you're going to use it, you're going to mix it with other colours. Simple, really. I'm just getting some paint running down my palette there. That's when you get a bit of separation, basically. That's cool. Right. Where was I? Mixing this dark phthalo blue, black, and a bit of alizarin crimson. You don't need a lot for this because the gesso on there already is doing that job for you. Just want a bit of colour. It's not going to show because it's dark, but I don't want it to be a flat black, like I said. To you it'll look black, but when you actually look at it, it's not. I'm just going to use that in there first, so we can highlight over the top of it. And some lovely leaves where it's hitting it. A bit more black to that. And also I just touch a little bit of green every now and again, especially in these higher spots, just up in there. See that where that sunlight is? There, just have it hitting that. Maybe it's hitting the top of it there as well. See if it just tap very gently where that light's hitting. Allow it to mix everywhere else slightly with the darker colour that you've just put on. I want it to be quite, not very close. Don't want it to be too close. Whatever you do up here, like I've said before, I'm just going to put some in the water, which is similar. It doesn't have to be exact, it just wants to be similar. Just that similar tone, or similar green tone. And we're going to make these reflections look wet. You can always go back in and change your darks and stuff as well when you do it like this. If you've got it a bit too bright anyway, you can go back in and make it darker again. So don't worry, just get them somewhere near both top and bottom, because I want lovely reflections in this. I want them to look really wet, and this will help a lot with that, with making them look wet. There. Cool. So we get a little bit of yellow ochre to that same colour. Tap in, get a little ridge on corner, and then over in here I'm just going to add a bit of that. It's not standing out enough, so I want to get more paint and mix it with this green. Yeah, that's better. Wet on wet, you see, you need that paint there to stick over the top. If you wanted, you could easily put a bit of thinner with this and it'd stick a lot easier. There. It's amazing little details you can get by using these brushes. Leave the darks so you've got some layers. I'm using an upward motion at the moment. Just pushing up. It gives you a lovely. That's a bit bright, but I can darken that later. It's getting in its shadows now, you see. So it should be darker in there. Down to the water's edge maybe. There. Tap gentle now, really gentle. So you don't destroy all them darks. See that? Just gently tap into them. And there you go, I can make them brighter still now, that's the idea. But I just want to put a couple over this side as well. So let's start. These are going to be in the dark shadows, you see. So I've got to think about that. I want to make a darker green, so I'm using that dark colour, mixing that in there so it's quite a bit darker. I don't want it too bright. And then like just coming in there, tapping some of that in. Just leave the dark sometimes and just come in front of it, brighten that up slightly, just in there. Now I've made them brighter than I want them in the water, because when I pull them down to create a wet effect, it's going to mix slightly with the colours that's underneath, so that's why I've done it slightly brighter, but it's still going to be a lovely reflection for that. It is, it's going to be cool. I can see also we're mixing a bit more green with that colour, and I'm actually tapping now. See that? Tap in, push and get a ridge. Just up in here, I just want to create some little effects. Some more sharper trees that you can see, or bushes should I say. Same up in here. I want that to really stand out. I might get a bit of cad yellow with that. See that? Just a bit of cadmium yellow will help brighten the colour and make it stand out more. Also I've thinned it so it'll make it stick over the top better. Just in there. Cool. See that standing out lovely now. Same in the water. The brightest spot. Maybe a bit more light's coming just over the top. There. But I don't want it too bright, just enough so that it stands out. Now I'm back into that dark again. Yeah, the darker colour. Where this is there, again, I always turn the brush. If I've done it that way in the top, and I've just tapped like that, I turn the brush over and I do it the opposite, because everything when you're doing mirror reflections is about doing the opposite. There. So that now is a reflection of that in there, and I can also push and get a ridge, a real big ridge as well, and that'll allow me to go over the top of that even. And when you come to blending this, you just make it stand out so it's just like that up there. It looks too bright right now, but once you pull down and go across, it really does make it more subtle. Cool. And I'm also thinking of adding a tiny bit more light just at the top edge of that anyway. So let's do that. Tap, push, get a ridge. Just on the very top, I'm thinking a tiny bit of light might even just crept over here and there. There. Like that. like a clumpy one, that the ones which grow just in little tiny clumps. Step back, have a look. You see, these darks, they always help having all these darks in there. Sweet. Now I want to put a highlight on this. So for that, I'm just going to use cadmium yellow with the same green colour that I've been using, just brighter. See how I've got it there, and I can tap and get a lovely ridge of paint just in there. I like to get it more on that corner so that I can work it, but for this one I needed to get a bit more on the opposite corner because the sunlight's hitting on the right side. So just in there where that sun is, I'm just going to highlight. First I'll tap it a little bit. Right, I'm going to come in with a clean brush now, a fan brush, and with that I'm just going to use the corner and just tap that out. There. Yeah, I got a bit too much on, that's why I've done this. There, just want it to look like it's hitting it there. That's the one. And then a bit of that colour as well. I can drag a tiny bit of it just into the bush itself. Cool. You can even just get a bit of white and do that. Just tap into the white, straight white. And then here and there in that bright yellow, just tap a bit of that. It'll look like little sparkles from the sun. Yeah. That's cool. Now, while I've got this fan brush in my hand, I'm just going to push and get another little ridge in there. And then, just the top of this bush is getting lit up a bit. Just in here. There. A little bit brighter. And then it goes into the shadows. Cool. That's enjoyable, this one. I think you're going to really enjoy doing this. Now, I just want to come down in here and use a little bit of the blue. So like I did for the sky, exactly the same. I'm just going to put a smidge in, just a small amount, because remember we put some on the horizon. You have to match in the water what's above, so because we put some in here, I needed to just put some in there to match it. And then same up in here, there's a bit for that light and stuff that's coming through, but you won't see the light reflected in the water because we're going to have a bit of movement in here. We're going to have a stream now that comes through here, which I'm really looking forward to painting actually. This I want it to be to the blue side, not the red, the blue side. So then with that, I'm just going to grab some white. Now there's a bit of black in with that as well, which tones it down and stops it from being too yucky, you know, unreal, like it's a wonderland. I mean, it's nice to do them sometimes, it's just that I just wanted it to be similar to the blue so it matches the painting. I'm going to put that down right now because I need control here. I've made the brush sharp like a knife by loading both sides of it, and with that all I'm going to do is just create a tiny little trickle of water. Now first, I don't want to press too hard because it's going to come out too light. Here there's a bit of light, so I don't mind it there. That's it. But all the time I'm doing this, I'm running out of paint, and then I'll go back into that and blend it. So I'm thinking of just a little trickle basically coming down in here into this little pond. You could have maybe a couple of little tiny drops. See that, just there. Maybe a bit going on. See, now I'm running out of paint, I can go back into that and then blend it. But don't kill them darks. They're just as important as the lights. Now, I haven't reloaded this brush once yet, so I just want to come in here. That's actually coming in front of this bush, but I'm staying away from these reflections just at the moment, intentionally, because just out there I wanted a little bit of something going on, a little bit of movement. See, that's just a couple of little drops where it's hit a little rock or a boulder. That's good. And then you can blend behind that gently. So very, very gently. Cool. Happy. Now that's the middle area. This is a sly trick. Once you've got it to this stage, just straight get a bit of white. Just make it a slightly brighter colour. And then I just want to go over the top of that. There. Slightly. Just enough to make it a bit brighter. And then underneath that, I just want to gently tap for where the water would have actually splashed down. But only gentle, I'm not doing it hard. I'm not doing it hard at all. Just in there. And I don't want there to be loads of movement on here, you see. As this comes through it gets deep, and that's why we're going to have the mirror reflections, you see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this 1¼ inch brush, and I'm just going to gently, really gently pull down on that, you see. And by pulling down, you see them little lines? I'm going to fuzz it out and make it look wet. Just by gently pulling over it first. Tap your brush out so you've got no excess paint in there. Tap it out on a paper towel, and then you can come back in here and just go across. There. And you've got them lovely reflections. And anytime you get a situation where you lose a bit too much dark, all you have to do is go back in with this dark colour straight back into there, you see, and put a bit more back in, and then do it again. It's easy to lose your dark, and you don't want to lose it in your reflection. We're going to put some little ripples over this and stuff anyway. So again, just want to gently pull down on that and go across. Because what I want to do is go straight through there with this white now. See, we've got this colour on here, and the waterline for this is coming around there, I think. Coming in just around there. So now it's going to mix slightly with the green, which is ideal, because you won't have a white waterline for this. You want it just, the white mixing with it does it just enough. You see that? It's a sly way to do it. And also, clean it, wipe your brush off on a paper towel. And what you can do is you can just highlight here and there where you want to. And I'd like another drop, maybe just here, going into that bush. So I'm going to go back into my darker blue, and then just about maybe there even. There. This is one that's coming over that, you see. There. You just got to see these things in your mind. I mean, I'm painting from memory here. Not from memory, sorry. I'm painting from the imagination, should I say. But if you want to paint a real place, it's no problem. It's not that bad to do. See, the water movement is in the centre here. So by putting a few little ripples out there soon, that will really create a lovely effect. But I just want to create a waterline here by using the same brush with the white and the blue on, but going right through. In fact, it needs to be higher. Don't mind if you get a bit of the green in this water, because it's reflections. There. I needed it to come higher, just there. Don't mind if you do that, but don't get it right first time. It's not a problem. There. Something about like that. See, even that, where I've just blended it, it just turns into reflections basically. And because the light's there, that's why I did that as well on the top part. Allowed the yellow to mix so much, otherwise I could just clean a brush off and reload it again, no problem. Right, so reload again. Now, just in here, I just want to create a tiny bits of movement going on, not a lot, just here and there. Somewhere you can leave them actually glassy like that. Just go over it a slight tiny bit, I think, just to make it look wet. That's it, perfect. And then around that you can easily get some nice little ripples and stuff going on in there because it's coming from here, you see. Bit of movement going on. This is very faint. You should see the reflections underneath the movement of the water, you see. That's the whole idea with this. Some places you'll get little eddies, and where you get the eddies is where you can really blend into that. It's nice when it picks up that green as well, the colour you get. I really like to work with that. And then as soon as that runs out, you see, you're back to your blue again. So you've got all these different varieties of tone. It's great. Down there I don't want too much movement, just a few maybe. Bring that. Just want to break this reflection. There. Right through the middle of it. That's it. Perfect. Something about like that. Now again, still got this paint on my brush. The blue, the light blue, it's still there, even though I've mixed into this green and that, there's still a little bit on there. When you press with a little bit more pressure, it'll go, but it'll be transparent, so you'll still slightly see the reflections through, you know, of these trees. You want to just see them, you don't want to cover them all up. By just doing this with a bit of this light, it gives you that movement, but also it's like when you do the sunlight. It's a gorgeous effect. You're going to get quite a bit of movement in there, I would think. And when it moves, it picks up the light, you see, and that's why. Cool. Press harder for them areas where you want to cover it. Just don't kill all the darks with it. Leave a decent amount of them in there, like I have in here, towards the bottom edges especially. Cool. See, that is like a reflection that's just been, the water's moving too much and it's just like bobbled in there. You can also just grab a tiny bit of white and blue, and just where that water is and when it touches, you know, I put that underneath where it splashes down. Just underneath that I want to pull down a reflection for the actual little drop, for the white there itself, the white and the blue. So just pull a little reflection down from that. Cool. And then a dry clean 1-inch brush and just gently go over that. Smart. You can even go back in and punch some little rocks and stuff in there with a filbert. Just in there. And there's one there. There's one just there as well. And that's just coming in front of it.